चिन्तामपरिमेयां च प्रलयान्तामुपाश्रिताः कामोपभोगपरमा एतावदिति निश्चिताः. Lord Krishna describes the mindset and beliefs of those who are driven by desires and engage in demonic behavior. They experience limitless worries and anxieties. They seek temporary pleasure from desires, even though it ultimately leads to destruction and chaos. Their primary goal is the pursuit of sensory pleasures and indulgence in materialistic desires. They firmly believe that this pursuit of pleasure is the only purpose of life, lacking awareness of higher spiritual truth. This verse highlights the delusion of individuals who prioritize temporary pleasures over deeper, more meaningful pursuits. Their fixation on sensory enjoyment leads them to a life of anxiety and destruction, far removed from spiritual growth. आशापाशशतैर्बुद्धाः कामक्रोधपरायणाः ईहन्ते कामभोगार्थम् अन्यायेनार्थसञ्चयान्. Lord Krishna describes the plight of those who are bound by desires and driven by demonic qualities. They are ensnared by numerous desires and expectations. Their lives revolve around fulfilling their desires and reacting with anger. They make relentless efforts to attain their desires. Their ultimate goal is to enjoy material pleasures. They seek to acquire wealth and possessions through unfair means, disregarding morality and ethics. This verse emphasizes how individuals consumed by desires and anger are trapped in a cycle of greed and exploitation, leading to moral degradation and suffering, both for themselves and for others. इदमद्य मया लब्धम् इमं प्राप्स्ये मनोरथम् इदमस्तीदमपि मे भविष्यति पुनर्धनम्. This verse expresses the mindset of those with demonic qualities regarding wealth and desires. This I have acquired today. This desire I will fulfill. This is mine. This too will be mine. This verse reflects the arrogance and materialistic outlook of individuals who are driven by greed and desires. They are overly confident in their ability to accumulate wealth, often ignoring moral principles and the transient nature of material possessions. This mindset leads to further attachment and delusion. असौ मया हतः शत्रुर्हनिष्ये चापरानपि ईश्वरोऽहमहं भोगी सिद्धोऽहं बलवान् सुखी. Lord Krishna illustrates the arrogant and deluded mindset of those with demonic qualities. They boast about defeating their enemies. They express a desire to conquer or harm others. They wrongly believe they are in control of their destiny. They see themselves as the ultimate enjoyer of life's pleasures. They take pride in their achievements, believing they have attained success through their own efforts. They perceive themselves as powerful and content. This verse reflects the arrogance of individuals who are blinded by their desires and delusions, leading them to a false sense of superiority and self-satisfaction, while ignoring the moral and spiritual dimensions of life. आढ्योऽभिजनवानस्मि कोऽन्योऽस्ति सदृशो मया यक्षे दास्यामि मोदिष्य इत्यज्ञानविमोहिताः. Lord Krishna further describes the deluded mindset of those with demonic qualities. They take pride in their material wealth and social status. They think no one is equal to them. They plan to make offerings or gifts, but with the expectation of receiving praises. They focus on their own enjoyment and pleasure as the ultimate goal. They are blinded by their ignorance, not realizing the futility of their pride and material pursuits. This verse highlights the arrogance and self-importance of individuals who are trapped in their desires and delusions. They fail to understand the transient nature of wealth and status and remain oblivious to the deeper truths of existence. अनेकचित्तविभ्रान्ता मोहजालसमावृताः प्रसक्ताः कामभोगेषु पतन्ते नरकेषु च. Lord Krishna describes the fate of those entangled in their desires and ignorance. These individuals are distracted and confused. They are trapped in a web of ignorance and illusion. They are deeply attached to the pursuit of material and sensory pleasures. As a consequence of their actions and attachment, they descend into a state of suffering and degradation. This verse emphasizes the consequences of being lost in desires and ignorance, highlighting that such attachment can lead to spiritual downfall and suffering, illustrating the importance of self-awareness and the pursuit of higher knowledge. आत्मसम्भावितास्तब्धा धनमानमदान्विताः यजन्ते नाम यज्ञैस्ते दम्भेनाविधिपूर्वकम्. Lord Krishna describes the characteristics of individuals who are deluded by their ego and material wealth. They are overly proud and consider themselves self-sufficient. Their arrogance prevents them from recognizing their true nature and the reality around them. They take pride in their wealth and social standing. They engage in rituals or sacrifices but with an ulterior motive. Their rituals are superficial. Their actions are hypocritical, lacking true sincerity and understanding, as they seek recognition and praise rather than spiritual growth. This verse highlights how individuals driven by pride and materialism engage in rituals without real devotion, emphasizing the importance of sincerity and humility in spiritual practice. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodhain cha sanshritah mamatma paradeheshu Lord Krishna further characterizes those with demonic qualities. They are driven by a strong sense of ego. They rely on their material power and strength. Their arrogance binds them to the truth and leads to disrespect for others. They are driven by intense desires. They harbor anger and resentment. They embrace these negative qualities, allowing them to dictate their thoughts and actions. They harbor animosity towards Krishna and others. They despise not only themselves but also others. Their hatred and resentment lead them to act against others. They are envious of others' success and happiness. This verse highlights the toxic mindset of those who are driven by ego, desire, and anger, emphasizing that such attitudes not only harm themselves but also create discord in their relationships with others and the divine. Tanahan dushatakruran sansareshu naradhaman kshipamyaja shramashubhan asurishveva yonishu. Lord Krishna explains the consequences for those who embody demonic qualities. Krishna indicates that he distances himself from those filled with hatred and negative qualities. This verse emphasizes the serious repercussions of harboring hatred and cruelty. Krishna conveys that those who embody these demonic traits will face spiritual degradation and a lack of divine connection, resulting in their continued suffering in the material world. Asuri yonimapanna mudha janmani janmani mama prapyaiva kaunteya tato yantyadhamangatim. Lord Krishna highlights the fate of those who are caught in a cycle of ignorance and demonic qualities. This verse serves as a warning, illustrating that individuals who embody demonic qualities will find themselves in a cycle of rebirth that leads to further spiritual decline, emphasizing the importance of cultivating virtues to attain a higher state of existence and connection with the divine. Trividhan narakasyedan dvarannashanamatmanah kamakrodhastatha lobhas tasmadetattrayantyajit. Krishna identifies three key factors that lead individuals to a state of suffering and degradation: desire, anger, and greed. He advises that individuals should renounce these three negative traits to cultivate a more virtuous and fulfilling life. This verse emphasizes the need to overcome desire, anger, and greed as they are significant obstacles on the path to spiritual growth and peace. By abandoning these qualities, one can avoid the destructive consequences they bring and foster a more harmonious existence. Etairvimukta kaunteya tamodvare stribhirnaraha acharatyatmana shreyas tato yati parangatim. Lord Krishna highlights the rewards of overcoming negative qualities. Those who liberate themselves from the three destructive qualities achieve a higher state of being. They engage in righteous actions that lead to spiritual growth. Such individuals reach a higher, more enlightened state of existence, ultimately achieving union with the divine or spiritual liberation. This verse emphasizes that by overcoming negative traits and engaging in virtuous actions, individual can attain spiritual elevation and fulfillment, highlighting the transformative power of self-discipline and moral living. Yashastra vidhimutsrujya vartate kamakaratah na sasiddhimavapnoti na sukhanna parangatim. Lord Krishna explains the consequences of disregarding scriptural guidance. One who abandons the instructions of the scriptures lives or acts out of desire and impulse. They do not attain success, happiness, and the supreme destination. This verse emphasizes the importance of adhering to scriptural wisdom and guidance. It warns that living life solely based on personal desires without a moral and ethical framework leads to failure, unhappiness, and a lack of spiritual progress. तस्मात् शास्त्रं प्रमाणन्ते कार्याकार्यव्यवस्थितौ ज्ञात्वा शास्त्रविधानोक्तं कर्म कर्तुमिहार्हसि. Lord Krishna underscores the significance of following scriptural guidance in life. The scripture is your authority in determining what should and should not be done. Knowing as prescribed by the scriptures, one should act accordingly. This verse emphasizes that knowledge of the scriptures is crucial for making informed decisions in life. By adhering to the principles laid out in these texts, individuals can engage in righteous actions that lead to spiritual growth and fulfillment, highlighting the importance of duty and moral responsibility.